Shalom, first and foremost, I would like to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakakwadash. I would also like to give a double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who do rule well that have taught me this truth. And I would also like to say a sincere shalom unto the hopeful elect, unto the scattered elect, unto the brothers, the prophets, the men who are prophesying and laboring in this truth and in this doctrine. Unto you, I say shalom. Esau is still living in their glory days. Now, when I say their glory days, I mean when they were feared amongst the world. All right, the world feared them. Why? Because they're military. All right, because their ability to go in and take out whole regimes, blow shit up. All right, the world feared them. All right, the world feared that once the U.S. said they were going to come in and invade, and they were going to do this. Hey, the world, these nations, they straightened up. They signed whatever peace treaties or whatever agreements had to be done. They signed whatever ceasefires they had to, but those glory days are over. All right, Esau, you're not the same. Okay, you may appear to be the same, but it's a different war. It's a different time. All right, and we're not living in the times where Esau is feared, or Esau was feared. Why? Because they dropped those bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the end of World War II. All right, but from that moment on, the world knew what they had to do to come up against this place. So you got China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, all right, and various other countries that may not have the nuclear ICBM missile capabilities, but this world has been building themselves up for this moment that we're coming into, World War III. All right, and we see just 2 weeks ago, Israel and U.S. kicked it off. All right, but Esau's going into this fight thinking that, hey, we still got the juice. Like we still that nigga on the block, and the world is seeing that you're not. You're not the military that you used to be. You may have the technology. You may have spent this amount of money on your budget, over $1 trillion, but you don't have the strategy. Okay, and ultimately the Most High is not dealing with you. All right, the Most High, He dealt with you on the left hand, but the Lord is turning His back on you. Okay, like I said, on the left hand. All right, the Lord ain't dealing with America. The Lord ain't dealing with Esau. But just for the Lord has dealt with Esau in order for him to get where he's at. But Esau, he thinks he did it on his own. He thinks these nations fear him because he's so smart in his military. No, the Lord put you in the position. Okay, but the world is seeing these devils for who they are. These devils for the cowards that they are. All right, the world is seeing that you ain't as bad as you say you are. All right, the world is seeing that you have all this military, Navy, Army, the Air Force, Marines, and you having trouble with Iran. All right, and the world outside of America knows what's really going on over there. All right, word gets around of the footage of what's going on in Tel Aviv and how they destroyed a lot of those F-35 over on the Air Force base in Israel. All right, so this war progresses. All right, you're going to see a lot of ups and downs, but the world is going to see that America's is used to going into these countries and just wiping these people out. All right, like similar how you saw about a month ago in Venezuela, how they had troops going there, within a matter of hours, no casualties. They went in untouched, kidnapped Maduro, his wife, and they were in and out of there. It ain't the same thing, all right? Iran ain't Venezuela, okay? And I compare America to like Mike Tyson, all right, back in the late, the 80s and the 90s. He was knocking people out left and right. Knocked Larry Holmes out, knocked Michael Spinks out, who became the youngest heavyweight champion ever. All right, and no one wanted to fight him. No one really wanted to get in there. All right, some guys, would last, but he would knock a lot of guys out, so he was feared. All right, that same fighter now is getting in the ring with YouTubers. No one fears him anymore. Okay, but the world is living. The world is living on his past. Like, oh, he was knocking niggas out. He not knocking nobody out no more. Just like America. America's, it ain't no slight on Mike Tyson, but he ain't the boxer that he once was. All right, like America is not the same military and have that military prowess as they once did. All right. Um, so let me start right here with Isaiah 14. Actually, I want to go back. I want to start at um, because I'm gonna start at Ezekiel 28 because America has that same personality, has that same spirit of the Prince of Tyrus. The Prince of Tyrus in the ancient world, he thought himself as a god. He thought that he couldn't be brought down. All right, he thought that just like Esau. All right, so let me read this. Ezekiel 28:2. Son of man, say to the Prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. All right, Esau, and he thinks he's a military God. All right, where I got my military, I can just go in and wipe these people out, nuke these people, and do this and do that. They can go in and have economic hitmen, destabilize economies. Esau feel like they could do whatever. Okay, and it was like that for a long time. So when things when something becomes a habit, people Esau believe their own bullshit. All right, Esau sitting back like damn, maybe I am tough and bad. All right, and thinking that he's a god. All right, I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thy heart as the heart of God. So the Most High is saying you're nothing but a man, and the world is seeing that Esau is nothing but a man, a base man at that. Okay, the lowest of the low. All right, just because somebody give you an AK or somebody give you a assault rifle, that don't mean you Rambo. Okay, but Esau is killed and slaughtered people, so the world is thinking like, oh, he the baddest. He's a commando. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. He could just but we're finding out that nah, you ain't like that. Okay, yeah, we know Esau's a devil. All right, we know that he's a great manipulator. All right, we know that he's the wicked. Okay, but as far as being a great warrior, or he ain't like that. Okay, um, let me see. Let me get Isaiah 14, and I'll start at 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth, and it hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. So these nations, all these rulers, they're saying, and they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? All right, that's what these nations are they may not be saying it now, but eventually they're gonna say, damn, we thought y'all had this. We thought this was gonna last maybe a week. And we're going on months. We're going on 2 months. All right. And the nations are seeing that America ain't got it like they used to. Okay, you put all this money into military and you can't handle Iran. All right, you got all this missile defense and iron domes, and you talked of a golden dome, and you running out of missiles. You have to borrow missile defense systems from what was it? North Korea. I'm not North Korea. Excuse me, South Korea. Okay, you're trying to get these missile defense systems and getting missiles back from these various countries that you were allies with, that you helped out, like Ukraine. Okay, we thought y'all, the world, thought you had it together. You spent all this money and you still struggling. That shows you that the pomp, all right, is being brought down. What's going to say that? Let me see, is this verse? Yeah, verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vials, the worms is spread under thee, and the worms have covered thee. Worms represent decay and uh, decomposition. What is the word? Uh, how do you say the word? Decompose. Okay, the worms represent decay. All right, but by pomp is brought down to the grave. Let me look up this word pomp. I think it by pomp, Guion, majesty, exaltation, excellency. Let me see what it says. Majesty, elevation. All right, they're going into proud, pride, all right, arrogancy. Okay, and this arrogancy is being brought down low, but we know Esau is not going to repent. Esau, he's still going to, he in his mind, he still think he got it. All right, in his mind, he still thinks that he's going to win this war. All right, and the thing about it is you can't back out because the world was really going to look down upon you. Okay, Isaiah 47:1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldees. Thou shalt be no more called delicate, tender, and delicate. All right, sit down in the dust. Dust represents confusion. All right, and Esau is really looking confused right now, especially Trump. All right, he has no military background, even though he has people in the military. A lot of those commanders and not sergeants, commanders and what do you call them, generals. A lot of them left prior to Trump's presidency. Okay, so a lot of the strategic, the military strategists, they're not in the military right now. A lot of them left. Okay, take millstone, grind, uncover thy locks, make bare thy leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. That's talking about Yahawashi coming back. But before that, it said, thy nakedness shall be uncovered. All right, the verse before that, it says, uncover thy locks. It said, make bare the leg, uncover thy thigh. So it's basically saying Esau, America, Babylon is being revealed. All right, in all areas, they're being revealed. Of course, being the wicked, all the wickedness they've done throughout the world, but they're also being made bare to show the world that they're not as bad as they thought that the world thought they were. Okay, they thought the world, have seen America as they threaten boots on ground or like I say, one of those battleships or aircraft carriers shows up. They see the F-15s, the B-2 bombers and shit flying over, the stealth bombers. These nations get right, but now these nations are like, yeah, y'all, y'all may still have the equipment, but shit, y'all don't know how to use it. All right, or y'all still may have the ships and stuff, but no one wants to join your military. No one wants to fight. Okay, and that's another scripture I want to grab. Jeremiah 30 and Jeremiah 51:30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed. Failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. So how is it that you have this great military, but you don't even have people? The ones in the military don't want to fight for this war because they know they pretty much don't want to fight for Israel, but they understand, they may a lot of them may be jarheads, but they understand what the hell is going on. So how much more do people hear that you want to eventually draft to fight in this war? It's going to be a lot of people that's going to be AWOL from America and try to escape this, but there's a lot of people that's going to a lot of people, a lot of your sons and your daughters and grandchildren, nieces and nephews are going to go over there and fight in this war. All right. Let me go to Nahum. All right. It's like Esau's this supposedly this great warrior and got all this armor on, but don't know how to fight. He got a sword, but don't know how to use it. And of course, we know Esau knows how to use a sword. That was his blessing. Okay, but as far as his military goes, they're not big and bad like they world thought they were. This is Nahum 3 and 4. Because the multitude of thy whoredoms, the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and I will make thee vile, and I will set thee as a gazing stock. All right, just going back to the scripture I read in Isaiah about this place being revealed. All right, the world seeing Esau's shame. Okay, the world, the world coming up against this place. All right, man, back in the day, or not even back in the day, even 20 years ago, the world wouldn't think about these nations, these various different nations wouldn't think about coming up against Babylon. All right, but it's been we've been saying it for the past 2 weeks, and various different other reports have come, not reports, but these analysts have been saying Iran has been planning for this war for 20 plus years. Okay, while America is still living in the past, thinking that, oh, okay, we ain't got a plan for this. All right, we already know what we up against. We just gonna go in there and we gonna slaughter them. Nah, the world's finding out that you ain't got it like that. All right. Let me go from there to Habakkuk, the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is proud. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, and that thick clay is the Hebrew word is ibadya, which represents the debt. But all these, who are all these nations, shall take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe, woe meaning destruction, to him that increaseth that which is not his. And he has went through the world and pillaged and raped, robbed, and murdered the world. All right, went into these different nations, set up shop, basically took all their natural resources and left their countries after they were done, sucking their country dry from all their natural resources. They left their countries, a lot of them in shambles. Okay, or they set up their central bank where they keep their people enslaved through that thick clay, that debt. All right, shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, that thou shalt be for booties unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. And hey, that's what we're seeing. That's what we're about to see. These nations, these spoiled many nations. All right, so it's only a matter of time for these nations. They link up with different various nations that and they're going to realize that we have a common enemy, a common foe. All right, and they're going to come up against this place. All right, and you're seeing it's like, man, they're seeing that, damn, if we could just, I'm pretty sure China and Russia is licking their chops like, shit, this is what we dealing with. That y'all can't get, you can't invade Iran and so-called set up a regime change. All right, that the things that Trump was promising. All right, so how much more, with China and Russia? Okay. What was that? Verse 8. I read verse 8 again. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people have spoiled thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and all that dwell therein. Woe to him that covet an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from that he may be delivered from the power, a power of evil. I'm going to jump down to verse 16. It says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also for thy foreskin, for let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing upon thy glory. Okay, so it's going back into this devil being revealed. Okay, because he has let me see. Oh, actually, I want to read verse 15. Woe to him that giveth his neighbor's drink, that putteth the bottle to him, and maketh him drunken, also that thou mayest look upon their nakedness. And Esau has spread their philosophies, democracy being one of them, all right, amongst these different nations, and made them drunk. And when as a drunkard, and they became naked by the philosophies that Esau, have basically um, not implemented. What's the word? Has pushed upon them in their society. Like, for example, turn a lot of these countries to the whole LGBT thing. All right, in these various Middle Eastern countries, giving their women rights and all this stuff, and that goes against their culture. But Esau, when it happens, Esau sits back and looks upon their drunkenness. All right, looks upon their nakedness and sit back and laugh and say, "Look what we did to these people. Look how these people are All we had to do is give their leader a little bit of money, and now they got LGBT parades, and their women are cussing them out. Their women are twerking. And Esau's done that. He goes in and destroys various countries' morale. Morale and ethics. Okay. Verse 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered, and the cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. All right, let me jump from there to the book of Obadiah, of course, 1 and verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The Lord is going to make Esau small amongst the heathen, because of the heathens. Of all the heathens, he's the top. All right, he's been at the top for a long time. All right, he's built up his military. The world is, like I said previously, the world has always feared Esau. They respected Esau because they feared him. Okay, they didn't respect him because he's a great leader, and he has great ideas, and he's innovative and all. They feared him because of the sword. Okay, but eventually he's going to be greatly despised amongst the heathen now. Okay, the pride of thy heart have deceived thee. Thou dwellest in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? That's the pride. That's the pride of Esau, Edom. Okay, even though they're not losing this war, but they're in a fight. Okay, but they still have that mentality like, hey, who's going to bring me down to the ground? Oh, let's bomb them and bomb them over there and bomb them. Okay, so they still, they're them not being clean. I won't say this. Them not being them still fighting in this war. They still have that pride. All right, that eventually Iran is going to tap out, and then we're going to be the same America that we once were, and the world will fear again. But that's not going to happen. All right, not this war. All right, newsflash: America doesn't win this one. All right, Obadiah 1 and 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. I'll jump down. Let me jump down to verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, and the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All right, I'm going to read this in the but all the men of thy confederacy. You have, like I said, you even have NATO and EU countries that's turning their back on Babylon. As this war continues. This is NIV. All your allies will force you to the border. Your friends will deceive and overpower you. You can imagine that America being overpowered. You would never, in the past 50 or 100 years, you would never think America could be overpowered. But hey, it says it in the scriptures. Okay, they're going to be overpowered. All the men of thy confederacy, they're going to overtake you. Those who eat thy bread will set a trap for you, but you will not detect it. Your allies have driven you out to your border. Those at peace with you have deceived you. They have prevailed against you. Those that eat thy bread have set traps beneath you. You have no understanding. All right, and the understanding, even though it's left hand understanding, is leaving Esau. Okay, no one's Esau is very manipulative and he's a great deceiver, but no one's buying the bullshit no more. All right, the skirts is being lifted, you're being revealed. All right, and only thing left for Esau to do is we know he wants to, or really Amalek wants to shoot a nuke on Iran, but I don't think they will, because that's going to bring forth World War III. All right, this is Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days and at that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all nations. I will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahawashi, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom thou hast scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. I'm going to jump down to verse 7. Verse 9, excuse me. Proclaim ye among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's all these nations putting their resources into um, putting all their resources into war. All right, and this is not something that is taking place right now. It's been taking place. You think Russia and Russia through the Cold War, China, North Korea, they've been putting their best foot forward to things of war. All right, of to prepare for war. Do you think Iran's been preparing for this war? They just didn't start 5 years ago or 10 years ago. They've been preparing for this moment. Okay? And assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves, come together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Yeah. Actually, I want to jump up at 10. I'll read 10 again. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Why is the weak saying they're strong now? Because Esau is vulnerable. Esau don't got the they still have the power, but they don't. Okay? Because they have a military. I can't say they don't have a military still. They still have, nukes. They have, but it's not the same. All right, it's not the same as they're living in the Desert Storm days, or even though they was getting their ass whooped in Vietnam, their Vietnam days, their all these various conflicts that Babylon, America has gotten into, and with the majority of them, they prevailed. All right, and a lot of times it wasn't even a fair fight. But now, times have changed. Things are different. All right, where the weak are saying they're strong. All right, all the heathens are raising up against Esau. Esau is they really don't have any allies anymore. All right, and eventually that's the beast hating the whore, where the NATO and the EU countries are going to turn their back on this place also. So I just want to go too long, but hey, the world is seeing Esau for who they are, and Esau still still living in their glory days, like in Esau's mind, they're still back in the Desert Storm days. Okay, but we see what it is. We see what time it is. All right. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the hope of the elect, and I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakakwadash, Shalom.